Welcome to today's Valentine's yoga class. This is a sensual flow where we as females specifically can get in touch and in tune with the beautiful movements that our bodies are capable of. This is a glorious thing, so let's embrace it and feel that sense of empowerment in our sensuality. Let's begin in a child's resting pose, and we're going to do some spinal waves from here. So tucking your chin, rounding through the spine, tucking your tail between your legs, rounding all the way forward in a cat position. And then we lower our hips down, pull our chest through, and gaze comes up. Keeping the cow shape, we're pulling back with the hips. Belly is lowered, head is up, all the way back to child's. And we're going to do a few rounds just like that. Moving at your own pace. Linking your breath to the movement. Exhaling as we pull back. Inhaling as we pull forward. Let's come through the tabletop. Tuck the toes. We're going to come into a downward facing dog, and we're going to continue on with our spinal waves, but from a down dog. So tucking chin, rounding through the spine, lower the hips, pull the chest through, head comes up, bending the legs, pull the hips, keep the gaze up until the very end. Let's keep going with that. Lowering down onto the knees, reach the hands forward, and you can even grab the top edge of your mat. And we're going to come down into puppy pose. So lowering the chest, the armpits down to the mat, chin is in contact. Working into the thoracic spine, that area between the shoulder blades. And you can stay like this, or you can tuck your toes and extend one leg at a time, or both at the same time. Bring the knees back down, slide the hands to either side of the chest, and pushing ourselves up. Double up the ends of your mat as we set up for frog pose. Working into the hips here. We bring the knees wide, ankles are in line with the knees. Toes are turned out. Now you can lower the upper body down. Gently shift front and back. And let's bring it now into tadpole. So you keep the knees wide, toes come together, and then you can shift the hips back even more. Go ahead and find some stillness here. A couple more rounds of breath. Pushing our way up, readjusting our mats, and coming into a plank pose. Bring your right knee towards your left elbow and extend that right leg out. Left arm reaches up, fall in triangle. Make it big, beautiful, and exaggerated. Circle that top arm all the way around. And sit it back down on the mat, slide the knee in, step that foot back, other side. Circling the arm all the way around. Replace the hand, plank pose. Pull the hips back for downward facing dog. Right leg comes up for three-legged dog. Bend through that top leg. And then slowly start to flip your dog. Pulling your hips and your chest towards the ceiling. Circle that top arm around again. Bring everything back. Three-legged dog on the other side. Bend through that top leg. Slowly flip your dog. Lift everything up. Circling that top arm all the way around. Back into our downward facing dog. Walk your hands back just a bit. And we're gonna step our right foot through and then slowly work our way into a split, coming to whatever depth you're working at. To square up the hips a little bit with the right leg forward, I'm taking my right hand and wrapping it back around. The left hand comes to the front and I'm trying to gaze past my right shoulder. Release that. Bring both arms overhead if you can. Twisting at the wrists, palms come together, thumbs cross. And working on the strength in this end range. We're doing little pulses. Slowly release. Tuck the back toes, push the ground away, and slide that foot through. And the other leg comes through now. Come to your depth, wherever that may be. And now left hand comes behind, wraps around that back leg. Front arm is on the outside of the front leg and looking past the left shoulder. Let's straighten both arms overhead, crossing at the wrists, palms come together, thumbs cross, and working that end range strength with our little pulse lifts. Slowly release, tuck the back toes, push the ground away, bring that back leg all the way to the back, and let's walk our feet forward. Come to a seated position. Keep the knees splayed. With your two peace fingers, we're going to grab the two big toes, and we're going to come into a balancing straddle. So find your balance on your bum, lift your feet, and then when you can, slowly start to extend through the legs until you come to that point of balance. Focus your gaze, your dristi, and slowly release. Let's come to lay on our backs. We're going to do some more spinal waves here. So arms are by your side, feet are about hip distance apart. You're going to tuck your tailbone under. So again, like a dog, tucking its tail between its legs. And then lifting the hips one vertebrae at a time. Coming up into a bridge. And then release that pelvic tilt. Reversing it to come back down. Push the spine into the mat as you tuck your tail. Lift your hips up again. Working with your breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. A couple more rounds. And settling all the way down. Let's bring the knees towards the armpits. Feet reach up, grabbing from the inside of the feet for happy baby. Taking this a little bit further, extending one leg, letting the toes tap the ground, extending through the other leg, toes tap, and then extend through both legs. See if your toes can tap, and release. Working into the hips a little bit more, we're going to do single leg behind head. So I'm extending through my left leg, grabbing my right foot, and trying to snuggle my shoulder into that right knee. And as best as I can, pulling that foot behind my head, lifting the shoulder and the head up off the mat, and then switching out sides here. Not forcing anything, just working with where we are. Slowly release that. And let's try both legs at the same time. Snuggle the shoulders in. And slowly release. Our final pose is going to be plow and noise canceling pose. So using a bit of momentum to swing our legs back behind us. You can extend the arms up overhead and then bend through the legs for noise canceling. Straighten the legs again, and then slowly with control, lower the hips down. Feet come to follow, readjusting on the mat if we need to. Let's keep the arms with cactus arms. Feet come the width of the mat, and we're just going to windshield wiper here. Start deepening our breath, closing out our eyes, noticing how we feel, seeing if we feel more in touch with our bodies, with our sensual side. Noticing if we can appreciate our individual beauty, and have confidence in it. I'm not trying to be like anyone else. I'm not trying to look like anyone else. Completely accepting who we are and how we are, while also always continuing to improve. You can go ahead and find some stillness here in a final shavasana, however it may look for you. And I thank you for joining me today. Namaste.